As we talk about dialogue, there is a dire need for us to reconcile this nation. Our country is broken apart on tribal, religious, and political lines. And we'll just be making a fun of ourselves, my dear friends, if we kept dialoguing without emphasizing reconciliation in this country. And reconciliation can take different forms. I speak today and do understand that there are a lot of people languishing in prisons. Some of them have waited for justice to be dispensed, and this justice is being delayed.
Thank you, thank you.
We believe that the challenges afflicting this nation can be comprehensively addressed through dialogue, through discussion, through consensus. And that is what we believe in as a party, and those are the values we bring to IPOD. We want an IPOD, Mr. Chairman, that is inclusive, and we should ensure and find all ways to make this IPOD process inclusive and have ways of bringing everybody under the umbrella of IPOD for the good of this country.
Stronger, more united, even if we go through a difficult election process. That is a commitment which Uganda People's Congress has had towards dialogue. We will always seek to pursue the dialogue option in order to overcome the difficulties, and difficulties will be there. There are areas where we don't agree on policy, but the greater good should be what should bring us together and seek to create a Uganda which will work for all its citizens today, tomorrow, and in the future.
We cannot have a country where there is no consensus about anything. We may disagree on some things, but we must find common ground. IPOD is about finding common ground because the unity of Uganda is paramount. In my younger days, in 1986, as a teenager, I listened to one of your speeches, Mr. President, and you described some categories of people using a Runyankore word. If I remember correctly, you called them Ronjera Maganya. The Ronjera Maganyas, in your own words, you said, are those who seem to be delighted in increasing problems, even though there are already enough problems. Mr. President, the Ronjera Maganyas are the 20% based on the principle of 2080. This is a business principle that 20% of your effort will give you 80% of the results. So the Ronjera Maganyas also are the 20% who give us 80% of the problems we have. But we can also have 20% who give us 80% of the solutions.
So, with these few words, I want to thank the IPOD for having trusted us, NRM, for the last 5 years with the leadership. I now peacefully hand over to Mao.
Mr. President, as the NRM hands over to DP, may we all rise and give a big round of applause to the National Chairman of NRM for chairing IPOD for a very long time. Thank you so much.
Request that we leave our personal items at our seats. That includes, say, handbags, mobile phones, so that we can stand freely and comfortably during the photo. After the photo with the delegates of the Democratic Party for democratic change. Delegates of JEMA, may we kindly come forward.
Politics must be like medicine. A political leader should be like a doctor. A doctor looking at patients. And this doctor will only help those patients if he makes a correct diagnosis of what the patients are suffering from. If he makes a wrong diagnosis and makes a wrong prescription, the patients will not get cured. They may even die. When it comes to society, it is the same process. You either identify the problems of the society correctly and apply correct answers, or you will not give them a solution. And that's why the NRM has identified the 4 principles which we keep talking about: patriotism, love Uganda. Why? Because you need it for your own good. Secondly, Pan-Africanism, love Africa. Why? Because you need it for your own good. I don't have time to go into the details, but we have explained this elsewhere. Thirdly, socio-economic transformation. We cannot go on with the pre-capitalist societies, traditional societies, and we think that we shall manage to survive in the future. And finally, democracy. We think with these 4, we shall succeed, and we have been able to move, as we have seen. In the last 40 years almost, the NRM has been able to revive the economy of Uganda, and although we have still problems, but we are much stronger than we had ever been before. If you have a different understanding, at least don't be violent. Don't use violence. Don't use subversion. Like the members here were saying, yes, they have got their different points of view, but let them express them peacefully, and then we see whether we agree or disagree. Now, when you have got a right understanding and you act right, then things will move. The country will be peaceful. But even if you have got a wrong understanding, but you are not violent, you don't act wrongly, yes, you will make mistakes, but the country will remain stable, and in the future, those mistakes will be understood and corrected. Now, the disaster in Africa is that people have got wrong understanding, but also use wrong methods. They are wrong on all accounts. They don't understand correctly, and they act wrongly, using wrong tactics: violence, subversion, cheating. This is the crisis you get in these countries. This is why Uganda here was in chaos. I don't have time to go into all that. And IPOD is not a center for parties trying to justify themselves. We shall have time for that. But because of all those mistakes, that's why you get chaos in Africa. Because even if you make a mistake, but if the country remains peaceful, in the future it will be corrected. and you will have where to start from. But when you are wrong understanding, wrong methods, that's how you get this total breakdown that we have seen in so many of the countries. Now, in Sorot Flying School, we needed most pilots and engineers of the aircrafts. But they didn't have money to pay all of them well. So, the school was about to close. When I went there, I found out that a pilot in a private airline gets 25 million shillings. Now here in Soroti Flying School, they were trying to pay a pilot 1 million, because that's what they could afford. And also pay the secretary, the typist, the same amount of money, pay the cleaner, pay wanting to pay everybody. Then I said about few people, the one we need most badly are pilots and engineers. The secretaries can be paid well later. If you have got money to pay all of them well, good. But if you don't have, what do you do? Should the flying school close? Because either we all get or nobody gets. That logic is not correct. We freedom fighters, we always prioritize. Kamukamugo iki, akwati mpola akola iki, bugubugushiki. When I advised them, they agreed to pay the pilots well. And they are not very many, because the pilots were few. And then the engineers. Now, the other people, the cleaners, the what, those can come later. But now they are trying, we are all working in Sorot Flying School, we must all get equal. Yes, but we need pilots more than the cleaners.
Belonging to IPOD and all the delegations, it is now my honor to call the meeting, the summit, to order.
I call the
of the members present from the different political parties. Being signed by the party presidents of the different. From the session that has just been taking place, we shall listen in later on from the different party presidents. Shall have brief remarks from them as the event program continues. But after this, representatives present of the different political parties, starting from the left of this situation.
We were orphans as IPOD when the donors withdrew from funding IPOD. But as a father, you picked up IPOD, and up to now you are nurturing IPOD. You always believe in a homegrown solution to our African problems. We thank you so much, and we pray that you continue guiding and supporting IPOD.